Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to market your small business with Instagram. If you're not familiar with it, Instagram is a social media tool for sharing photos and short little 15-second videos. You can put a little bit of text, as you can see in these pictures, but it's pretty much a visual tool. So these pictures are from Warby Parker, which is a company that sells glasses and sunglasses. They do a really good job at engaging with their customers and sharing content that is fun to see and fun to participate in. So to start, what exactly is Instagram? And like I said, Instagram is an avenue for storytelling through imagery, through captivating photos and videos. And like I said, the videos are really short. It only allows you to post 15 seconds worth. So when you scroll through your feed, you just see the pictures or the videos and you immediately want to be engaged, or you're just going to blow right past it, which is why it's important to really pay attention to what you're posting on Instagram. So Instagram is the best tool for engaging with your customers, collaborators, and industry peers. And according to a study, Instagram delivered brands 58 times more engagement per follower than Facebook and 120 times more engagement per follower than Twitter. So by engaging, I mean they're either liking your photo, they're commenting on your photo, they're sharing your hashtag, they're sharing your page, they're engaging with your brand, which is really easy to do on Instagram, which is why I imagine you see these numbers. So Instagram is a place to get creative, show behind the scenes of your company, run contests, show your product being used, and expand your reach on a global level. Just like we talked about with Pinterest, Instagram reaches everywhere. Anybody who uses it can see your photos, can see your videos, and like it or share it or become inspired by it. And it can lead to relationships that are incredibly valuable for your business. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Instagram looks like. Okay, so to take a look at Instagram, we're going to use a mirroring app. So what you're seeing on my screen is what my smartphone's screen looks like. So it'll look pretty much the same once we're in the app on whatever smartphone or tablet you're using. Mine's an iPhone, so it would look about the same on an iPad. So Instagram is that little brown camera looking icon, and we can click on that and it takes us into the app. So it'll immediately take you into what is your feed, which are these square photos. And you can see there at the top in the blue text, that's the account name, which is also called your handle. And then underneath of it, it has the location. So when you click on it, it takes you to a map. There it is. It takes you to a map and shows you where it's at. So this is really valuable for if you're a restaurant or a store, someplace where if somebody was looking for some place to go, they would be able to see exactly where they need to head to get there. So this is the feed. These are all people that we're following. In the bottom left-hand corner of the photo gives you the opportunity to like it. So if you click it, it will turn red and fill in like that, and then that person will be notified that you liked their photo. And then if you want to leave a comment, you can click on that little word bubble and then type in whatever you want to type and then press send, and it will show up on their feed. And you can see here, you can put a little caption. Some people use a lot of text, some people use a little. It's kind of up to you and what you're sharing. We vary in having just little short bits of information. Sometimes we add like a little joke, or sometimes it's a longer paragraph that either prompts them to do something or to go somewhere, to take a look at something, maybe to go look at the Facebook page to see a video, something like that. So that's what your feed looks like. And then if you want to look at your profile, you click on the little person on the far right. So this is what it looks like. And as you can tell, it looks pretty similar to our Pinterest. We use the same icon, the same name, and a fairly similar bio. And it links to our website. So this is what our feed looks like. These are all photos that we have posted We try to post at least a couple times a day. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. So right now we're on the grid view, which is why that little grid icon in the top left is blue. Then if you go to the one to the right of it, then you could look at the pictures on a larger scale. The next one takes you to your map, shows you where all the photos you have that have been taken. So you can see here, most of ours are obviously here in Laramie. We were at a conference in Atlanta a few months back, so that's why you see some over there on the East Coast. But most of them are going to be right here in Laramie. And then if you click on the far right icon, the little person in the little bubble, these are all photos that we have been tagged in. So a lot of them are from our personal pages or from people we've worked with. As you can see here, most of these are me and Audrey. So we tag back on our personal pages a lot. So how you tag a person is you would use the @ sign followed by your handle, which ours is Sweets, Wyoming. So you can see here in this picture on the Downtown Laramie page, there's actually 3 handles in there. So @ Jessica E. Romero, which is me, and @ Audrey C. Jansen, which is Audrey, and @ Sweets, Wyoming, which is the business page. Those are all tags. You can see that because they're in blue. And when you type the @ sign, then you can start to be prompted for who you want to tag, which makes it pretty easy. So that's what your feed looks like. You can also see how many posts you've had, how many followers you have, and how many people you are following. So then if you click on this bubble with a little heart, this is all of your notifications. So it tells you who's started to follow you, who's liked your photos, and who's commented on your photos. So that's a good way to stay on top of comments and engaging with people, making sure that you're responding and you aren't leaving anybody with unanswered questions. And right now, this is all of your notifications. If you clicked on the following, that shows you the people that you're following, how they're engaging. So pictures and pages that they're liking and who they're following. So next, the little search icon. Here, you could search for a person. So if I wanted to search for a person, I could click on the people tab, and then I could type in somebody's name. And as you can see here, it starts to give you an option of who you may be looking for. So then you can just click and it takes you to somebody's page. So this is what my personal page looks like. And then if I wanted to leave a comment, just like I showed you before, you click on the little comment button, and if I wanted to tag somebody, I could say @, and if I say Sweets, then Sweets Wyoming is going to come out, and then I could just say something. So then we can go back. If you want to search for a hashtag, like ours is Sweets Wyoming, it does the exact same thing. Then you can look and see where the hashtag has been used. So you can see the top posts and the most recent ones, which is a pretty cool feature. They just added that. And next is places. So where I was showing you all those maps, you could see where people are tagging the places. So if we wanted to say Downtown Laramie, Wyoming, there that is. So these are all the top posts and the most recent posts in Downtown Laramie, Wyoming. And another new feature in the search section is pretty much this whole page. So it shows you the trending hashtags as well as some posts that it believes you would be interested in. So it looks at who you're following, the kind of content you're engaging with, and then it gives you ideas on people who are near you or maybe people who are posting things that you seem to post a lot of or engage with. A lot like I explained on the Pinterest page. The more engagement you do, the better it gets at recommending people to you. And then it gives you some ideas there at the top that you can slide through. Discover new people, discover trending places, which is a good way to find new people to follow if you're looking for new businesses or just inspiring accounts to take a look at. So then we can go back home, which takes us to the feed. So if you wanted to post a picture, you would click that middle button and it takes you to your camera, and you can see here that's my screen, that's what we were looking at. If you wanted to post it, then you would just pick a picture from your feed, or you could take a picture directly. If you wanted to make a grid, this is another new feature. You could click on this, the little grid icon there in the right, and it takes you to this Instagrid, and you can put some photos together if that's something you wanted to do, which is kind of a cool feature. So if you wanted to post that, then you would press next. You could decide what kind of photo filter you wanted to put on it. It also gives you the option to just auto enhance it with this tool. Or if you want to do more specific adjustments, there's a whole bunch of options here which you can play with. I actually don't use the tools in the Instagram app. I use a different photo editing app, which we'll talk about more in the second video. But this is a great place to get started. Something I'll talk about here a little bit later is creating a photo recipe so all of your photos look similar, which adds to a cohesive feel on your account. Obviously, I wouldn't post this photo on our Suites page, but if I was, we would just continue on, and then we could write a caption here. You could tag somebody with the @. You could add a hashtag if you wanted. You could also tag people in the photo. And you can add a location. And then it also gives you the option to share it on different social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, Tumblr, Flickr, and so on. I occasionally share it on our Twitter feed and on my personal Facebook from the business page, depending on what it is. If it's super text heavy, usually I don't share it on Twitter just because it isn't a great platform for a lot of text. But truthfully, we don't use our Twitter a whole lot. We find that in Wyoming, it's just not a widely used tool, so it isn't incredibly valuable for a business like some of these other platforms are. So next you would press share, and then it would show up on your feed. In this direct tab right here, if you just wanted to send it to somebody directly without posting it on your feed, then you could just select somebody and it would send it to them directly. And here are all direct messages that we've sent and received. So somebody we worked with sent this to us just to say thank you for participating with her, which was kind of cool. And then if you wanted to take a look at what your direct messages looked like, your inbox, that little bin in the top right corner, that little icon is where you'd go for that. And we don't use that a whole lot, but it is a nice tool if you're trying to share something with somebody specifically and not make it public. So that is just kind of a basic overview of what Instagram looks like. So now we can talk about getting started with your Instagram account. So first, you're going to want to choose a relevant name. Fortunately for us, we were able to use the same name that our website is, just to make it easy. It wasn't already taken. So sometimes the name that you want is already taken and you have to get a little creative, but try to make it as user-friendly as possible, as memorable as possible, without a ton of numbers or underscores, just so people can find you without any problems. So next, you're going to want to create a concise, descriptive bio that is immediately recognizable by your viewers. So I talked about this on your Pinterest account as well. You just want it to be short and sweet, and for people to know that it's definitely you, that they're in the right place, and to know, if they're new to your profile, to know what it is that you do. And lastly, include a working link to your website. We'll stress this a lot, that broken links are the absolute worst. If it takes you to a website that isn't still up, or takes you to a page that isn't maintained, then that's a first impression, and that's what people are going to think of you and your business, and it's just an easy thing to fix. So just make sure that if you have a link on your Instagram, that it takes you to a place that is working. If you're selling something, if you have an online shop, then put that link there. Wherever you want people to go immediately, that's what you want. So maybe during wedding season, we would change our link to go to our wedding's profile page, and then we could send people from our photos to the link in our bio, and they would get to be exactly where we wanted them. So next, before you begin posting, settle on the overall design of your profile. What kind of person would you like to attract? What would they enjoy seeing? Just like with your Pinterest and creating your hypothetical lifestyle magazine, you want to think about who it is you're talking to, who you're trying to reach. What kind of photos do you want to show? What kind of videos do you want to show? Do you want to show mostly products? Do you want to show mostly customers engaging with your products? Do you want it to be bright and bubbly? Do you want it to be more moody and black and white? And it all depends on what it is that you're doing. Obviously, because we're doing cakes and parties and weddings, we try to keep it really light and airy and pretty feminine, because most of the people we engage with are women. So next, you would decide on the purpose of your profile. So are you trying to make sales? Are you trying to drive traffic to your website? And this all depends on what your business is. If you have an online shop, obviously your goal would be to send people to your online shop to buy the products. So you would want to be posting pictures of the products and how the products are made and how people are using the products. Or if you're trying to drive traffic to your website, maybe you have a blog or it's a nonprofit organization, then you have to be a little more creative. You'll have to post pictures and then include text that kind of ties it all together. So brainstorm ways you can fulfill this purpose through your profile. For example, you could host a contest where users share photos using your product. So maybe you make scarves and you want more people to engage with your company, then you could host a contest where maybe you gave a discount or you gave away a scarf and people had to share photos using their scarf. And you could have a hashtag, or you could make people tag your business, and that way you could see what they're posting and you'll get them to start tagging you and thinking about you when they're posting pictures with your item in their photos. So next, you want to begin to engage with members of your community, other businesses, and accounts that you see valuable to reaching your goals. So it's great to follow your friends and your family just to see what they're up to, but you have to go beyond that. So people in your community who will engage with your business, like their pages, comment on their stuff, show them that, hey, we're here, check us out. And the same with other businesses. Maybe they're people you can partner with, or maybe they're just other businesses that you want to support. We find that it's pretty amazing how a small community can come together and support each other once they know that they're there. But if you don't know that these businesses are out there in your communities, then how can you support them? And then lastly, accounts that you see valuable to reaching your goals. So we always joke that this is stalking, Instagram or Facebook stalking somebody, but really what it is it's becoming inspired by somebody else's account. So look at people's accounts who are in your field and are doing a really great job, or look at publications that maybe would pick up your stuff. Look at people who would maybe want to use your stuff, bloggers, lifestyle bloggers, that kind of thing. So in our business, we follow tons of bride magazines, bridal blogs, lifestyle blogs, photographers, florists, and not just here in Wyoming. We try to reach beyond that because the sky really is the limit. And just like any other social media tool, it allows you to chat with people as if you're right next to them through the internet, and they could be all the way across the world. So to download the app and join Instagram, you just need to go to whatever your carrier's app store is. So if you have an iPhone or an Apple product, it would be iTunes or Google Play for Android, or whatever you have. Just search for Instagram in your carrier's app store. It will likely be one of the very top items because it is a hugely popular social media tool. So next we can talk about the ideal Instagram. So first, what is an ideal post? So like we've mentioned before, an ideal post is an attractive, high quality image or video. So the pictures aren't blurry, it looks pretty, there isn't anything in the way, it isn't dark and dingy looking, and it isn't text heavy. So you're not just posting a picture that looks like a document where the text is so small you can't even read it. When people are scrolling through their feed, they likely aren't going to become engaged by something like that. A paragraph of text isn't nearly as exciting to look at as a pretty picture. So it also matches your profile style, which we talked about before, and includes tags of people, as I showed you, either brands or people who are in the photos, and hashtags for any contests or collections or something like that that you're engaging with. So as far as hashtags go, we try to use hashtags with a purpose, which we'll discuss a little bit more later. You'll see in some accounts, some people use hashtags a lot. So they'll have upwards of 50 hashtags in one post, which isn't something that we feel is very valuable for a business and can actually be frustrating as a customer to see because it kind of litters your feed with text that you just don't want to see. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what is important is if you're trying to enter a contest or you're trying to share a hashtag, make sure you're using it in your photo. So your ideal profile is consistent in style. It uses the same filter, the same lighting, the same crop style. The photos look similar. They aren't clashing with each other. It's an engaging and exciting variety of things. Sometimes you'll look at profiles and they'll just be pictures of the same thing over and over and over again. And while maybe the one photo would be exciting to look at, when somebody clicked to look at your profile and saw all you have is a picture of one thing, then they probably aren't going to want to follow you because they've already seen what you're posting. And it includes cross promotions and shared content. So you're not just sharing what your product is. You're sharing information that is still valuable. So maybe you're sharing a company that you're partnering with, or a company that you're inspired by, or a company that's in your town, or something that's relevant. Just so you're engaging and you're showing more to your followers than what you're doing. And it's the same idea as Pinterest. You're not just showing your content, you're showing others, because when you look at your lifestyle magazine through your social media, you want to capture the whole idea, not just one thing. So back to the selling scarves, you're not just going to be thinking about scarves. Maybe you're thinking about where you're traveling to and where you're wearing these scarves. And you can do that same thing on Instagram. So there are some apps for reposting to make this easier, or you can just screenshot on your phone and share the photo that way. But just regardless of whatever you do, make sure you send the viewer back to the original post so people don't believe it's your photo. So next, some tips and tricks for success with using Instagram. So first, show off your product. Show your viewers what it is that you do through beautiful photos and video. Don't be shy. This is an opportunity to brag. This is what we do. This is how our customers feel. This is how happy people are. This is a great place to show it and to really show it visually, not just to share a review or something that's text heavy. You can see the face of somebody or see it being used. And as I said before, make sure that your photos look good and they look beautiful and they're clean and they aren't littered with too many hashtags or something in the photo is blurry. It's as simple as just stepping back and taking a breath and making sure everything's right before you post it. So next, show off, like I said, but more than just your product too. You can share content about partnerships, behind the scenes looks, contests, and more. Keep it exciting. So if you're partnering with another company or you use a certain ingredient or a fabric from somebody else, then tag them and let your followers know that this is what you're doing. Instagram is also great for showing behind the scenes. So you could show your staff and how they're working, what your workplace looks like, where you're at, what your building looks like, that kind of thing. And you can have contests to engage with your followers, to get them to engage with you and to get them excited about your product. It's a great way to get your product out there, especially if it's something new and nobody really knows what it is yet. So next, engage. Tag products that you're using, respond to comments promptly, and comment on the photos of others. So just like I said, tag the products that you're using. If you're wearing a certain brand in a photo, then tag that brand in it so people can see that you're using it. Respond to comments promptly. If somebody asks a question or just gives you a compliment, then respond back. People love to see that businesses are engaging with them. It's exciting to feel like you're heard. And then lastly, comment on the photos of others. If you see something that inspires you or you see something that you like, then comment on it. And sometimes people won't respond back to you, but sometimes they will, and they'll come look at your page and they'll follow you, and it can lead to a relationship which can be valuable. So next, create a photo recipe. And this is something we will talk about more in the next video and some of the photo apps that we use. But just kind of a brief overview is to pick a certain style of photo and edit the same way for every post. So this will make your profile look cohesive. So if you want to post all black and white photos, then post all black and white photos. Then it'll make your feed look consistently black and white. Or if you want it to be super colorful, then constantly post super colorful photos. Or if you want to crop them all into circles, then do that on all of the photos. Or if you want to crop them all into horizontal pictures instead of squares, so they have white space or a certain color behind them, then you can do that. It's totally up to you what you want to do. But when your profile looks cohesive and somebody looks at your profile as a whole and it looks like one piece of art or one beautiful photo, then they're going to be excited by that and they're going to be more likely to follow you. And lastly, use hashtags with a purpose. So don't fill your feed with paragraphs of hashtags in an effort to get followers. So here in the parentheses, you can see I said hashtag we, hashtag love, hashtag social, hashtag media, hashtag yay. And this seems silly, but a lot of people do this. And it does work to get you some new followers, but a lot of time they're just followers who aren't going to be engaging with your product, who aren't interested in purchasing it. So it's great to have followers, but if those followers don't become customers or lead to helping your business, then they really aren't that important, except for that little number in the top of your profile. But do use them to share your content with people who have similar interests. So for example, there's a blog called The Cake Blog that we tag some of our photos with, the hashtag Cake Love on the Cake Blog. And what they do is they look at this hashtag, and that's how they pick cakes to feature on their blog. And we've had a cake featured on their blog because we used the hashtag. And in the photo, we posted a brief little description of what the cake was, followed by that hashtag, and it was the only hashtag on there. And so it had a purpose, and that one succeeded. We posted it with hashtags before, and it didn't lead to being featured, of course. But a lot of times, other people in the industry or people who are looking at wedding cakes, wedding planners, or brides, they do see that by looking through that hashtag, and then they follow us that way. So next, you can compete in contests. So, for example, there is a contest that Instagram hosts called Weekend Hashtag Project. And what you do is you tag your photo hashtag WHP, and then they pick a winner and post it on their feed. They pick a theme for each weekend, and then you can tag it with hashtag WHP, and they pick winners that way. Or you can engage with your own customers. So the hashtag we use consistently is hashtag SweetsWyoming. So this is the only hashtag we use. It has pictures of our products or pictures our customers use that hashtag, so we can see them using our products. We have it on our t-shirts, we have it on our website. It's kind of our way of looking at the collection of our product out there in the world. I hope that these examples helped to see what it is that you can do with Instagram and inspired you to want to post and share a bit about your company with your customers and to start engaging with them. Just like any of the social media platforms, the main goal is to have fun with it and to not let it bog you down and stress you out. You don't need to rush through it and post the same picture across all of your social media just because you feel like you need to be present on all of them. If you find that you don't want to be sharing the kind of content that works on Instagram, then maybe you don't need to be on Instagram. But if you're selling products or you know that a lot of people in your community are on Instagram, then it's a great tool to use. And it's quick and easy to post a photo, to get it out there, to put a hashtag on it or tag somebody in it, and to get the word out that you're out there. And it's a great way to see how your customers are enjoying your product, and to kind of be a fly on the wall, to see, oh, these people were eating in my restaurant. What were they saying? What did they eat? You can get a lot of feedback that way just by keeping an eye on it. So I hope you have fun with it. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you stay tuned. On the next class, like I said, we're going to talk about the photo editing program that I use, as well as a program that we use to look at your analytics, to see what kind of engagement you have. Instagram doesn't have built-in analytics like you'd see in Pinterest and Facebook yet. I think they probably will in the future, but there is another app that you can use to look at this. So I hope you enjoyed learning about Instagram. If you ever have any questions, shoot us an email and get in touch and say, hey, we want to see more about this, or we want to see how to do this. We would be glad to talk about it. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.